My mother-in-law left me $800,000 in her will, and my wife demanded I hand it all over to her. When Margaret passed, I was at her bedside holding her hand. My wife couldn't make it. She was showing a house to clients, said she'd lose the commission if she rescheduled. Margaret squeezed my fingers and whispered that I was the son she never had. 3 days later, the lawyer called me directly. Margaret had left me $800,000. She left my wife $10,000. When I told my wife about the inheritance, her face went pale, then red. She said, "That's our money, obviously, we're married." I reminded her that Margaret specifically divided it. She snapped that her mother was confused at the end, probably had dementia. I'd visited Margaret every Sunday for 6 years. The woman remembered my childhood stories better than I did. The next morning, my wife handed me printed divorce papers over breakfast. She said if we divorced, she'd get half in the settlement, but we could remarry right after if I loved her. I asked why she'd even think of that. She said $400,000 was fair since she'd supported me through grad school. I reminded her that her mother paid my tuition, not her. I called Margaret's lawyer. He said there was a letter and told me to come by. Inside the envelope, Margaret had written that she'd watched my wife cancel on me 23 times last year. Dinners I'd cooked, dates I'd planned, my thesis defense she missed for a work happy hour. She wrote that I reminded her of her late husband, someone who gave everything and got nothing back. The money was for me to start over. When I got home, my clothes were in garbage bags on the lawn. My wife stood there with her sister, arms crossed. Her sister called me selfish for keeping an old woman's money from her daughter. I said Margaret made her choice clear. My wife cried that I'd ruined her life, wasted her 20s on me. I asked if she remembered our wedding when Margaret told me to always choose myself first. At the time, it seemed like odd advice. Now I understood. My wife screamed that her mother had turned me against her. I said her mother just saw what I'd been too in love to notice. I grabbed my bags and left. That night, she sent 40 texts. First angry, calling me a bastard, then desperate, begging me to come talk, then negotiating. She'd take $300,000 and we'd stay married, then $200, then $100. The last message offered $50,000 and an apology. I blocked her number. The divorce took 8 months because she contested everything, even a $6 lamp. Her lawyer claimed emotional abuse, that accepting the inheritance proved I never loved her. The judge asked for evidence. There wasn't any. When it finalized, I bought a small house with a garden using Margaret's money. I planted tomatoes like she taught me.